Zonka, good morning.
Hey, good afternoon, Steve.
Hey, morning, Ildiko, and evening/night, Fuban.
Hi everyone. Barbara.
Oh, wait, couple minutes for more people to join. Just give maybe a minute more. We are still lacking a few AC members. Yes, we can we can crack on. So we'll start reviewing previous meetings actions. So, hey folks, we had a discussion about discussion about whether we can consume the guest component binaries directly rather than building our own each time, and we kind of agreed that was probably a good plan. So I've created an issue to track that. There is a bunch, well, at least one active PR which is modifying guest components versions and stuff. So we probably want to wait for things to settle a little bit there before we start on this. The other action we had was finer to create um, the required tests. Sorry, a PR to remake the non-TE jobs required. I might try and sync with Finer because there's not been. We've had a couple of failures in the last days, and Finer, yeah, I guess is busy on other stuff. He's not been to any upstream calls that I've been in this week. So yeah, I'm not sure we're in a rush to merge that yet, or if we need to reinvestigate the problems. Yeah, if you hit issues with non-T tests, then yeah, please shout. Okay, I think that's it for actions. So I guess we can have a discussion on the laundry list.
I personally mainly touched the pro list rust action item, to-do item. I did add a reminder to Kata Dev for people to look at that feature comparison. I think Alex did some updates, and maybe I don't know if Pavel or others had a chance to look at it too, but that is something that we need to keep making sure that it's up to date.
Hi, Alex is speaking.
Hi.
Today I updated some features. As the screen is shown, memory pre-alloc. Fupan is doing this feature. Please see 11416. And the next is the free page reporting. I checked the related PR 10710 and 5242. These two PR have already covered this feature. Yeah. Next one is call scheduling. I checked the related code and found it has been done. Yeah, the next is the VM template. It is a SOC project. I'm the mentor, and there is a student will do this work. And the next is VM cache. I talked about it with Fupan, and we regard it as it is a deprecated feature, as nobody want to use it. So I label it with deprecated. And the next one is rootless and subcomp. Please see the also there belongs to SOC projects 11414 and 9705. The next one is remote hypervisor. We will open an issue to do the enhancement. Please see 11395. And some other features currently I developed. One is watch and copy file into guest. This one is done. And another one is init data and image poll on guest support, which they are on the stage of under review. And the next one is Steve, please roll down the screen. Okay, thanks. Is Intel TDX support. See the PR 11179 and is now merged. Yes, that is all what I updated today. Yeah.
So I guess the SNP and SEV, I think that's probably in progress rather than completed. Is that correct, Pavel, based on my understanding?
Yeah.
So we need to like before SNP actually works or SEV, but I understand that that's deprecated. So SNP, this PR needs to be merged. It's been under review since February, and it needs to be merged because it actually adds a critical piece of functionality, which is reading the correct CBIT pause and physical address reduction quantities from the processor. until this is merged, then it will hit some, I think, unimplemented or something. Might even panic, you know. So those green ticks, I'm afraid, aren't actually correct at this point. But the PR should be, I guess, actually fairly easy to review. So if anybody can help with that, that would be great.
Just what I think of that. Yeah, we added the force guest pool feature not too long ago. Paul, you wrote it. Did that go into common code between runtime RS, or is that potentially need adding to this list as well?
Force guest poll in my PR image poll on guest support. I also supported it, and it is the last commit in
Okay.
my PR.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Cool. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, and I
thank you.
guess as you've done with the VM cache feature, Alex, one of the things we need to keep remembering to do is obviously having a list of the gaps is good, but we want to kind of have a bit of a MVP situation on these. So if there is a feature like the VM cache, which isn't widely used, then we should call it out on here and say we could switch to the Rust runtime without it being copied over. So yeah, I guess that's one thing that maybe we don't necessarily have clearly reflected on this at the moment. So we can obviously add some stuff into the status as we've done. So yeah, that's really appreciated for the updates, Alex. Thanks you.
In this context, I was wondering about Cloud Hypervisor. Like, first of all, is the project alive, and is Cloud Hypervisor used? Because I don't think we have anybody to maintain Cloud Hypervisor in runtime RS at this point.
Yeah, you should probably chat to Fabiano about that. I think they're using Cloud Hypervisor. They aren't using Runtime RS, or they're in early days of it, but I think they would. I think he said they would be potentially interested, so it might be worth having that
Also,
chat.
Microsoft is using Cloud Hypervisor, right?
Yeah, yeah, Microsoft are as well. Obviously, I guess they're not using Runtime RS, but yeah, we obviously want to have some Cloud Hypervisor support. Otherwise, people won't be able to move over to Runtime RS, I guess is the main thing. It's not whether people are using it in Runtime RS at the moment, it's if they're using it in general, which, yeah, I think is Microsoft and potentially Northlink. And there might be others, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a good point, Pavel. If we don't have anyone who's contributing to it, then maybe this needs to also be the sort of roadwork sign in here to flag up that maybe we've not got 100% coverage, but
Maybe, I mean, I'm not sure we can do like contribute to that from the Edge side, but maybe we can do testing soon, as we are switching from the Microsoft fork of Kata to upstream. There's work going on, and then we would use Cloud Hypervisor, yeah, on the AKS platform. But we because we have like a really, yeah, maybe like the build system integration for everything, it's really easy to switch components out and test things. So
yeah, that would be great.
So I think we need to figure out how to deal with Cloud Hypervisor in the Rust runtime then. I will just maybe note that it has a green tick here, and I do seem to remember that it actually comes from James, so from really good hands. On the other on the other side, on the other hand, I know for a fact that even though it's been declared like feature complete, I think was the wording, it cannot hot plug memory. There was a PR like a year ago by Chelsea, I think. It was never merged. And I'm mentioning this because not being able to hot plug memory basically means that Cloud Hypervisor can only work with static resource allocation, which might be fine. I don't know. I'm just letting you guys know who have more context. But the scenario where you basically launch a pod and each container specifies their limits, and these amounts of memory are then hot plugged into the Kata VM is not supported in runtime RS, at least with Cloud Hypervisor at this point. I don't know if it's a problem or not.
Is it possible, Pamela, for you to edit this issue to add some details in like the status section for some of these bits, as I think you'll probably got more information. Is that all right? And then we can be a bit more transparent, because yeah, we obviously don't want to mislead people, including ourselves, that all of this is done and signed off.
Yeah, sure. I think what could actually help, like maybe to approach this from the other side. I'm approaching it from the source code. I'm basically reading the code, reading reviews, watching the changes being done. But if we could run CI on runtime RS like in its entirety, it could actually flag some of the problems for us.
Yes, we certainly talked about that last week. Yeah, and we need to understand which bits we do have testing and what feature gaps we have, which I guess is what this section Viner added was trying to reflect.
Because I think CI failures would actually remove some of the uncertainty of the kind I'm expressing here, like Cloud Hypervisor cannot hot plug. It still can probably work with static resource allocation, and it might be fine. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Cloud Hypervisor or how it's used. So either somebody knows in this call or in the wider upstream community, or we can just run CI on runtime RS the same way we do on the Go runtime. And if nothing fails, then we can probably conclude that Cloud Hypervisor was never supposed to support hot plugging memory, and good. We've solved the issue without doing anything.
Yeah, let's have a look at the Cloud Hypervisor tests that we have. So we've got jobs for Container D. Well, Sandbox API, that's a different question we won't dig into now.
Do we have any Kubernetes tests? Because this would be the main.
So we've got at least some. I don't know what is or isn't skipped on those tests, but there is something. The fact it runs in 5 minutes makes me feel like there's probably not tons of tests, but
well, it's enough that we have one pod YAML with limit set, right? Limit set for memory. So that's the main metric here, independent of how many tests or how long they're running. if just one pod YAML has limits set, we know if, okay, so someone needs to look through the YAML files.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so we do have 71 out of 100 skips. So some of these are going to be Cocoa ones, which is obviously expected because this isn't a Cocoa using a Cocoa image. But yeah, I guess that's the bit we need to understand if we have good coverage of Hotplug, which I hope we do, but yeah, something we want to understand. And yeah, I guess it's a challenge between should we continue to skip things because skip things kind of hides the problems, but if you don't skip things that are known failures, then we're gonna see it as red all the time. So yeah, is a difficult balance to make.
I think also like since we're aiming explicitly for feature parity, then running the same CI on both runtimes is kind of a natural way to express or test that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, one thing we discussed for moving from runtime Go to runtime RS is that all the use cases should be in the CI, and the CI should be like the metric for moving from runtime Go to runtime RS. And we have identified several streams and working groups that need to make sure that all the tests are in the CI and all the use cases they want to use, right? So as mentioned before, right, if we just say, okay, this test now runs with runtime Go and everything is green, then we can say, okay, this is kind of working. I still need to update the GPU portion of the issue that was shown before because a lot of things changed in the meantime. And I don't know if we should implement specific things here as well for runtime RS because the host and guest kernel changed a lot, and some of those things are deprecated if we are using the latest drivers, GPU drivers and kernels. So I need to revamp this again. So Alex, I will ping you on several topics here, especially on the VFIO mediated pass-through. There's VFIO PCI Core and IO MMU FD stuff that's more important than the other stuff. Okay, yeah, I need to revamp. This is 8702. Okay, let me make a AI item.
Yeah, and it's linked in the
Yes,
top of the...
for VFL device support, I think we should make a plan and to make it clear for us to make it clear for us to know how to support device via VFL pass-through. Yeah, we can. I think we can discuss it later through Slack and make a clear plan for us. Yeah. I will or say I want to together cooperate with you to make it work in our Rust runtime. Yeah.
Yeah, and Zonko, I think you absolutely nailed it where you said the CI needs to be the kind of arbiter of what's working. If we don't have CI tests, we can't effectively support functions. So that might mean that we need to add more testing for these extra use cases. And like that, I think we talked last week, there is at least some new tests which we can add, which because we don't have the coverage there on the Go runtime either. But yeah, that would be very useful. So if we could document some of these test cases, if people know of things that are missing, then that would be fantastic.
Just to note, I've also been talking to people, and I received some feedback around those lines of not like the test coverage is not where it could/should be. So like this movement of switching to the Rust runtime and making sure things are tested, maybe this is a good opportunity to look into as we are moving forward. And part of the Rust runtime work, people were mentioning that the community wants code that is more maintainable. And I think having test coverage is a huge part of that. So maybe this is also a good opportunity to look into how to make sure that on one hand, we cover areas that are not covered right now, and on the other hand, how to make sure that new code that comes in is always covered with tests, unless there is an exception why there cannot be, where tests might not be mandatory for that particular one. But I think on most changes, new feature or bug fix, there should be no reason not to have test coverage when the code is written.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Cool. Any more on runtime arrests, or we move onwards? Okay, so we've done a bit more on workflow hardening. So thanks, yeah, particularly Aurelian's helped to push some of this forward. I think OLEC secrets for Azure has gone in now as well, which is great. And Aurelian's got a PR in progress for adding Zizmore to help us keep on top of this into the CI. So that's really useful. Once I've got later on in the agenda some of the security PRs. Once we've got in them, I will rerun the scorecard to see if we've improved. Is there anything you wanted to add on this, Aurelian?
Yeah, for this is more PR. I'm still not sure why it's not showing up in that PR's
Yeah.
check, to be honest. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take another look today, but yeah, I'm really not sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
And for the OK to test validation, so I think I'm actually gonna undo that PR and revert it, because I guess I didn't realize that the approval setting was for all external contributors. I thought it was just for first-time contributors, but
No.
if it's for all the external contributors, then what I'm doing with the OK to test thing is a bit redundant. I see OK to test as being useful to save on resources, but at this point, with the GitHub setting, not really as a security measure.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess there is a gap between people who are part of the org, but are not considered external contributors, but don't have write access. But you'd hope that people who are part of the org have some level of trust. So yeah, and it looks like there is some issues with it. I commented on the PR.
Yeah, which I was in the middle of resolving, and then I saw your message, and I was like, oh, it's actually might be redundant. So yeah, I think I'll just revert it.
Okay, cool. No worries. Thanks for the update.
Sorry,
Right.
can we go back to that one?
Oh yeah, sure.
What are I was thinking next steps that we have in mind? Yeah, looking at the Zizmore PR. Yeah, we could remove the old branches, but again, with this with the workflow approval, I don't think we need to do that.
Yeah. I think it's probably good practice to tidy up branches anyway.
Yeah.
I think I don't know exactly how many we've got up to. I think it might be like 71 or something like that. Oh, 69 now. So there's a lot of them are from Dependabot, which we'll also come back to later. A lot of them look like they're yours, Aurelian, as well.
Yeah.
Fabiano is normally the person who loves branches to keep branches around, but yeah. So it might be helpful just for clarity to to tidy up some of these, and I don't think that setting is any harm.
Yeah, I'll
I don't
enable
know
it.
if it's a super high priority, as you say, with the approval setting.
Hmm. I'll just turn it on right now. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, that was my view. Was it doesn't if it's not necessarily buying us loads, but if it doesn't cause any harm, then we might as well
Hmm.
have it turned on.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, I guess we should probably move on. Yeah, Eldrico, update on the Zoom recordings.
Yes.
Was
So
this just copy pasted from last week? Or?
no,
Okay.
not exactly, because it was so last week we talked about the fact that there will be a Zoom account change in the background, which will trigger a change in the Zoom dial-in link, but also need to figure out what to do with the Zoom recordings that are currently in the Zoom cloud. And I looked into it. The account has a bit above 1,200 recordings. That adds up to 72.5 gigabytes. So it's quite the labor to have everything archived. Because some of these recordings are like the 3-second recording when someone stumbles on the meeting link that is automatically recorded outside of meeting times. So kind of the question mark is, like, does the community want to archive all of this, or what's the preference?
So I think when we discussed it last week, we said VPTGs are long lasting, so be useful, and then maybe 1 or 2 quarters of AC meetings. Yeah, I think we said it would be nice to have an archive, but they're not. Yeah, I don't view it as. I don't think there's massive value in AC meetings from 2019 and stuff like that. So
Okay. Then I will prioritize PTGs from last year and this year, and AC calls from this year. Does that sound reasonable?
I think if possible, and it might be that it's difficult to pick them out, PTGs, I think it might be helpful to have more of them. I guess in theory,
Okay.
we've only got like 12, 16 ever PTGs, just because that helps give us a bit more of that
Okay.
roadmap. And like there was probably, maybe it wasn't in a PTG, but there might well have been a discussion about how and when we move to runtime RS in a PTG that might actually have been useful if we'd been
Okay.
reflecting on. Yeah, not
I think
essential. I think the last couple of years would be really
okay.
important, but yeah.
No, I think I will likely be able to fish those out by searching for time ranges. Um, I just I wanted to understand how strong the community feels about having everything archived somewhere, even if not directly even if not all of them are directly accessible. Just because the sheer amount of recordings, and I like filtering through them, it's just I either have to script it and then try to trust that script, or because you never know, there could have been a shorter meeting that was still valuable. So it's hard to just script it to make the decision on what to throw away and what to archive from this amount. And before the account goes away, I truly don't have time to go through all of them. And I even barely have enough space on my laptop to just download them all. So just, yeah, I'll figure all that out if I'm able to archive more than what we agreed on, but I will grab more PTGs and AC calls from this year as a starting point to make them accessible. Does the community have a preference on, like, for example, if we were put the PTG calls and AC calls from this year on YouTube, do you all want it to be password protected, or just having it on YouTube in a playlist would be fine?
That's a good question. I'm not.
Mm,
I guess the normal Zoom meetings are somewhat password protected, albeit we put the password on here.
Yeah, anyone with the link can, anyone with access to the Etherpad can either dial in or grab the recording already as is.
So would a private video on YouTube kind of be equivalent to that? Because it wouldn't be something people would find from searching, but if you know the link, you could look at it.
If the preference is to make those playlists private, I think we should be able to configure that, but I will double check with our team. If the preference is to keep them private, then I'm sure there's a way to figure that out.
Yeah. And it might be the case that we don't even need to worry about uploading all AC meetings. We could do it on an ad hoc if someone requests it.
Okay.
I think having access to them would be helpful, but I don't know realistically if many people are going to, obviously, because my notes are so amazing. I don't know if anyone's going to go, oh, we really want to talk about this one. There are a few times that I have gone, oh, we had this discussion. I want more details, but we could always reach out to you if you have some of them downloaded. But it depends if that saves you effort to have to upload them unless people ask.
Okay, I mean, once they are downloaded, then we can figure it out. I just wanted to have a baseline idea whether to start with the private versus public videos. So I will prioritize private setting, and then we will figure it out with our team, what time frame we can make these available and how everything is going to work.
Cool. Any other thoughts on that? Okay, cool. So yeah, as mentioned above, got a few more kind of updates and follovers on the workflow hardening pieces. We talked about a lot of the secrets that between Aurelia and myself we've removed or rotated. There are 3 left we haven't updated, so we might have more chance on that. So yeah, I guess Choi, we've got a secret for the HKD path.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a secret, or is it?
It's
Could
not
we
a
move it
secret, but
to a
it's something.
variable?
Hello?
Hi, Joe.
Oh yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a secret actually, but it's a path which I don't want to expose it to anyone who within the, I mean, self-hosted runner, because some of the files in that path is some files we only can obtain them internally.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I put that in
Okay.
as a secret. But yeah, it's not a secret actually, but it's just a mangled path.
Okay, so we probably don't need to rotate it, but we don't necessarily want to put it into vars. Is that fair?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Okay. Sonko, I think the K-build sign pin secret, I think you might have added it.
Yeah. It's not really, well, we can rotate it. It's not that old. It's like 1 month or something like that.
Okay.
But the underlying, so that's a wrapper key, right, for sealing a secret. So we can rotate it with some policy every release, or every free releases. I don't know. We need to have a policy on rotating keys. It's not, well, it's important for the functionality, so it can be any key. I don't know if we have some automated way of rotating keys or something like that. This would be a really nice feature, because I don't care what's in there. Just need to be secure enough. Yeah, I need to look up into that. Let me just write an AI for this one, because this would be interesting if GitHub had this functionality of rotating keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making a mental note here. Okay, build sign pen.
Cool. Well, it sounds like if it was rotated recently, then not super high priority.
No, we have other keys that were like 5 years old. Last time I looked.
So I believe we've rotated everything else.
Okay.
I can potentially have a quick look. Yeah, so obviously the Azure one we can't particularly easily rotate. Their IDs linked. HKD path we talked about. Last month. Okay, the cable sign, the create deployer password, and authenticated image password are rotated last week. So yeah, it's basically just the ITA build, I guess. Sorry, the ITA key. It's the main one.
Quay, is it possible to use a robot account for Quay?
It is a robot account.
Oh, okay, it's a robot account. Okay, yeah, maybe. Okay, it's not descriptive, so may. Okay, anyway.
For Quay, maybe we can just move everything to GitHub, so we don't even need a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I think maybe we should put that on next week's agenda. I know we've had some discussion back. We wanted to have a mirror previously, which is why we had Docker Hub and Quay, and now we've got Quay and GHCR. But if GHCR is reliable enough that we don't necessarily need the mirror, then yeah, we could consider going down to one. That would be a good conversation to have, and check if any different geos or something like that, if there's any access issues with GHCR. Cool.
Yeah, maybe if GitHub has a downtime, we may still should have a mirror where we have the artifacts. For now, I mean, relying on just one repository is kind of could cause problems, but anyway.
Yeah. Cool. And then there is a bunch of PRs looking for more reviews. So there's a really simple one for code injection, one-liner. We've got the update to not persist credentials. We've got one reviewer, so we can do with another one. And then once we've resolved there's this more issue, then it'll be great to get that reviewed. There's also, I think I've got one PR to fix CVEs. I think this fixes them in a few different components. I think 4 different components. So yeah, just trying to work on still running down these number of CVs we've got. We're in an okay place. There was one new high priority one that came in this week, which I've already squashed. The protobuf one wants Ding's PR for moving image pulling out. That will give us freedom to go and bump all of these, but we've got some issues around version consistency. So yeah, still looking to make some more progress on that. So any help with reviews would be great for that stuff. Any more questions or comments on the workflow hardening stuff? I know we talked about it on the laundry list a bit. Okay. The next thing was going to talk about is the 318 release, which would be due sometime next week. Anastasios, who unfortunately has had to drop, volunteered to run the release. But yeah, I wondered if people had any outstanding issues they wanted to resolve. I thought it'd be good to get some of these security things in, and particularly, I guess, the CVE bump has a more direct impact on the code, but the workflow ones would be useful as well. But is there any other issues people know about or think particularly would be helpful to get in this release? Okay.
The only thing I would have is the GPU CI/CD. If this works out, there are some dependent PRs. One PR. I know that you reviewed already some parts of it, but I'm still owing you the clean run on a feature branch. Let me do that today, and see, and then we can.
Yeah, and if you can pop them on the list, that'd be great. And yeah, feel free to nudge us in Slack. I guess based on that, in terms of date, is there any particular, I don't know, if sort of Tuesday-ish as a name would be useful or doable, and then if it slips by a couple of days, we're not into the weekend.
Yeah, we don't have to. We don't have to postpone the release because of this. If it fits time-wise, then happy to have it in there. If not, then we can move it to the next release.
Okay, cool. So this.
I have a quick release process related question.
Yep.
Would it be possible to have, like, I don't know, one paragraph of information that is a bit more high level in terms of what went into the release for people who are less deep dive into the code to still have an understanding of what changed? I don't want to add a huge overhead.
So I think that is in the release process.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
Already that we ask for people to point out any highlights from the release notes, but certainly all the releases I've done, nobody's ever come back with any particular highlights. So, but yeah, that is part of the process. But quite often releases are a collection of CI fixes and minor bug fixes and stuff. Like, obviously last release, there's lots of PRs in here, but lots of like fixes, typos, logging changes, CI updates. So whether you could get anything, lots of dependency bumps, whether you could get anything coherent, I don't know. That's why asking people who have added new features to say, oh, what is a notable feature, is probably the only approach. But maybe we can add it on these calls. We can spend a little bit of time on this call to say, after release is done, is there anything that is particularly notable we want to pull out?
Yeah, that would be helpful because, yeah, for less experienced eyes like mine and some users as well on occasion, it's not always trivial to figure out what went into the new release and why that matters, other than you should be on the latest, but that's not something that is that easy to promote if there's no additional information to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I guess
I can keep talking if there's no other release things. Okay, so Kevin and I got a notification email that the Equinix metal arm servers will be decommissioned by August 8th, which is less than 2 months. I've been working on trying to get resources from elsewhere. They are currently not looking as promising as they did at the beginning, but I'm still working on it to see if there are options. In the meantime, the person who was coordinating, I think from the ARM side, that works on ARM program from which we got the resources, he said that he might be able to get us some credits that would not be, going forever, but could be a temporary solution. And I was asking what the credits could be used for. And then he provided me with the information that's in the Etherpad. We don't have to decide on this right here, right now, but I wanted to ask if either of these things seem to be something that could be a temporary solution for the community to rely on for ARM stuff or whatever testing CI stuff. So I whether or not I should go and grab those credits. I don't know how much for how long they would be lasting. So yeah, that's the question mark.
Yeah, so we already use the GitHub runners for our ARM builds,
Mhm.
but my understanding is they don't have KVM support, so you
Okay.
can't do nested.
Mhm.
So we're using the Equinix systems for our testing because we need to be able to install Kubernetes and stuff like that on. So I think we already have switched where we can to the GitHub runners. So I guess some credits for some of that stuff would be helpful.
You mean the GitHub runners to extend that?
So if
Or-
there is, yeah, I don't know what if the credits are just for GitHub runners because we already have them on. So I don't know if there are a different set of runners which are paid
Mhm.
for only that do support nesting, or
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not quite sure what these credits give you access to, or if it's generic like cloud credits that you can use somewhere that you can provision. We could
Mhm.
provision a bare metal ARM runner or something like that.
Okay. I will ask back about the GitHub sponsors program then.
Mhm.
If that one still doesn't give access to anything that supports nested virtualization, um, should I still say that we will use the credits whatever way we can, or would that be more burden for the community to try to set something up that we will not be able to use for like long term?
Yeah, I think it'd be useful to understand what the credits get
Okay.
us, which we might have on the link, but it might be that it just like there are limits on free runners about how many you can provision at a time. I think Aurelian already did some magic to get our limits bumped up anyway. So yeah, I just don't know if the credits will necessarily get us much.
Okay.
But yeah, if they have some more information, then we can obviously review that.
Okay. I'll try to dig that out. Cool.
Good. Thank you.
Um, I'm also trying to see if I can get some Kata t-shirts. Um, I grabbed the photos from Fabiano that Steve you modeled the t-shirts that he created, I think a few weeks ago. So that one has text in the front and a big logo, I think, towards the bottom of the back of the t-shirt.
Yep.
So I'm thinking I was wondering what people's preferences would be in general, like logo versus text. And I would also move the logo on the back at least further up, because I don't think the bottom of the t-shirt is the best placement, if we think about distributing this for the community at large. just to have the logo someplace more visible. And yeah, I don't know if there are any preferences people have, or if you want me to put together some options and then you want to vote on them.
Yeah, I'm happy to vote. My observation from going to things like KubeCon is it's much more common for the project t-shirts to just have a kind of a logo on the chest, and that way it is visible. You can, I guess there's a difference maybe between something that you wear or something that if we had a stand at a conference or something like that, like there has been
Mhm.
Kata stands at KubeCon, CNCF Con before, that would
Mhm.
make you visible, and so people would see more easily that they can talk to you about Kata. So yeah,
Mhm.
a logo on the chest would yeah, like you say, make it more visible. But yeah,
Mhm.
maybe if there's some designs that would be
I mean, I do have
interesting.
really simple mock-ups in PowerPoint. If people want to look at it in like 30 seconds, I can do, I can show that um, just with what I played around with, or I can just throw them into Slack too.
Yeah, don't mind. I'm happy to. We've we've got we've got a few minutes.
Okay.
Stop
You can,
sharing.
yeah. Oh God, yeah. Need to find the right window to share. Well, too much stuff open. So this would, do you see my screen and with a t-shirt
Yep.
thing on? Okay, cool. So that would be, I think, what you mentioned, the logo on the chest.
Yeah, so
Um,
probably more number 5 is more common, where you've got like a bigger one across it.
like
Yeah,
just
that's more what I see from other projects, which doesn't
oh,
mean we have to do that, but
mhm, okay. The other things that I was playing around is like having, the
Mhm.
mission statement or ah, the word doesn't come to me. Um, the slogan, I think maybe for the community on the chest, and then logo here on the sleeve, or logo above, and then the project name without the logo, or yeah, we talked about the logo options. So I can, if this is roughly in line with what people would want to wear, or would like, then I can throw these options. I will also check in with our team if they have other ideas. I was just thinking to not do the logo on the bottom because that's not very visible.
Yeah. Oh, I
Um,
see. Five's a logo on the back, is it? Sorry, that was my mistake.
no, it's fine.
When
It
I
could
said I was
be.
more thinking about 5, I more thought about that positioning, but on the front rather than the back.
No, I
So
mean
maybe that would be an option
yeah.
for if we want a bigger one, which
Let me
might not.
make it an
Yeah,
option.
that
There
sort
you
of thing.
go. But no, it's fine. I understood what you meant. Um, so yeah, I can throw these options into Slack, and then people can vote on them and then see which one comes out on top. But it sounds like that, logo in the front, bigger the better. Um, I also see thumbs up in on people's icons. So sounds like that what people would be going for. So yeah, I'll double check with our team as well if we have any other t-shirt designs anywhere for Kata that I haven't found yet. And then I'll throw them into Slack and we will take it from there.
Have you seen the kind of zip up hoodie that we had before?
Uh I did, but it was a while ago. I think the logo was on the sleeve.
Yeah, there's a full logo on the sleeve and then just the small logo on the chest at the front.
Okay.
I happen to be wearing mine now. If you if you
Nice.
need another modeling, shoot. But
Yeah, I do have memories of that. With the t-shirt, the challenge
yeah,
is that the sleeve is not long enough.
yeah. I
Unless you
wasn't saying we
want
should
the
do that. I just wondered if
yeah.
yeah, because you said about existing designs.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I do remember that one. That's where the idea of the logo on the chest and then the text on the sleeve came from. One of the options were. Anyway,
Mhm.
I'll put up a few on Slack once I finalize them, and yeah, we will take it from there. Thank you.
Cool. Sounds great. So just before we rush off to other calls, just a plug, I've been doing some more crate bumps. Dependabot's been doing some of it. It does have some problems because we had some crates that are like 6+ years old, so I've had to step in and help it on a couple of these times. But if people have got some cycles to review, I think they were all passing all the tests now, so it's just check. So there's some more links. Okay. And with that, we are at time. So thanks for joining, everyone. And yeah, speak to you soon.
Thank you
Thank you.
all.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.